Hello everyone, this is Lord Kurnion, and I'm here with week 2 of the Escalation League. This week is 500 points, and this week I was drawn up against Beastmen, which we're using end times, so that he's using Beastmen from the Glottkin book. There's no mixed armies here, he doesn't have any warriors or demons, just pure Beastmen, but he can take marks, which is the advantage. And he's also using the Winds of Chaos table from the Demon book, and he gets to use that too. So both of us are rolling for that, and we're going to see how it works out. So for my army, I had a Herald of Khorne on a Juggernaut with a Greater Gift. I had 10 Bloodletters and I had 5 Fleshhounds. And for my Greater Gift, I forget what I rolled, but I ended up defaulting to the Axe of Khorne, which is +3 attacks, provided I'm in base contact with 3 or more models. So I was excited to see how that works out. Being on the Juggernaut, I'm on a big base, pretty good chance of me being in contact with 3 models. So I thought that would be a good gift. I initially, when I drew up the list, had intended to just take a Herald naked on foot, and that would give me an extra 100 points. I was going to spend that on 7 Furies of Khorne. Furies of Khorne is something that I'm interested in trying out. I feel like the one problem with demons, especially mono Khorne demons, is I don't really have anything for range to reach out and touch someone or keep something honest. So it's a really hard matchup against avoidance armies. Furies of Khorne are something that I thought might be a good counter to that. They are movement 10, swift stride, and they're strength 5 on the charge, so they're basically flying bloodletters. Figure unit of 7 or 8 of them charging into elf fast cav. I should be able to win combat. At the very least, it's enough of a combat in my favor that it should keep avoidance elves honest and prevent them from just kind of enveloping me. So that was the idea behind wanting to take the Furies of Khorne. Unfortunately, I didn't have any painted up. I was relying on Malasar to be at the store and to bring his harpies that I could double as Furies in this game, but he couldn't make it to the game this weekend, so I ended up having to default to this list. I had this list as a backup, so I took this. So my opponent took Beastmen. He had a level 2 Shaman who was Mark of Nurgle, Lore of Beasts, and Ruby Ring of Ruin. He had 10 Gore full command, Mark of Nurgle, additional hand weapon, and he had 10 Best Gore with full command and Mark of Khorne. And then he had a solo Razor Gore. So something I've realized at small points games, movement is everything, especially for my demons, since Mark of Khorne for a demon means +1 strength on the charge. So getting the charge is really critical for me. Fortunately, I have Fleshhounds in my Juggernaut Herald that have the range advantage. Problem is, his Razor Gore can throw a wrench into that, because he's fast enough movement with Swift Stride that some of these long charges is a good chance that Razor Gore get enough charge off into me. And then I'm going to struggle to wound the Razor Gore. So my primary target in this game is the Razor Gore. I need to kill him. Once that happens, I should have the range advantage to pick my fights. So that was the plan. So we go to deployment. This is actually taken halfway through his movement phase. I had forgotten to take pictures initially, and it wasn't until he was partially through moving his units that I realized, oh wait, I need to take pictures. So anyway, I caught it partway through his movement phase, going left to right. He has his Razor Gore, his Gore with the Shaman level 2 in there as well, to the far right of the unit, and then he has his 10 Best Gore of Khorne. My deployment, left to right, I have my Fleshhounds, my Herald, and my Bloodletters. There's my Fleshhounds. And we go to Beastmen Turn 1. Yeah, spoiler alert from the last picture, he won first turn, so he advanced like that, everything moving up 10 inches. Not advancing the Razor Gore too far, which I thought was smart, keeping with the line. Magic was pretty uneventful. Yeah, pretty much I stopped the important spells. I stopped Fireball, and nothing else really mattered. He has Wissons, and he has the Curse spell, Curse of Anrier. So neither of those spells I really care about. It's early game, so I didn't care about that. I stopped Fireball, though. So Demons of Chaos turn 1. As I said, the #1 priority is the Razor Gore, so I moved my Fleshhounds up and wheeled them behind there, so his Razor Gore can't charge me. It would be a flank charge for the Razor Gore, and he obviously can't fit. But if he advances too much so that my Fleshhounds can charge him, I will be able to get the charge against him and take him out with my Fleshhounds. So that was the plan, that's why I advanced there. The Herald came over to sat next to them, also to threaten the Razor Gore, and the Bloodletters just kind of sidestepped. Then we go to Winds of Chaos. Winds of Chaos was an 8, which means it's Slaaneash's reign. So it potentially hits everything on the table. I roll for all my units, doesn't hit anything. I roll for his Razor Gore, roll a 6. leadership test at 3d6. Basically, it's like a casket of souls. He takes 4 wounds and he dies, so that was nice. The thing that I'm most worried about in the game is taken off the table by Slaanesh. So thanks, Slaanesh. I really appreciate that. It didn't hit anything else, and we go to Beastman Turn 2. So this time he just kind of wheeled and advanced towards my newly formed battle line around that wall. And we go to Magic. He throws 3 dice at Fireball. He gets it off Irresistible Force. Fortunately, my Herald has a 4-up ward save against magical missiles. So I was able to save all the wounds, which was nice, but he blew that up. And then I was able to stop his other important spell with the rest of my dice. So we go to Demons of Chaos turn 2, and I just back up my Fleshhounds a little bit, not wanting to tempt a long charge. And basically, if he advances towards me again, my Fleshhounds have a pretty decent charge at him. But if he doesn't, then, you know, I mean, pretty much he's never going to get the charge advantage over me unless I fail a charge. So I didn't want to take the risk, and so I just backed up. And we quickly go to Beastman turn 3. So his Bestigor tried a long charge on my Bloodletters. He needed like a 10 or 11. He failed and just scooted forward about 3 inches. Meanwhile, the Gorge just kind of advanced to keep the line, and we go to Magic. Nothing really happens. The winds don't do anything. And I stopped his Curse again, and he got off Wissons, which, like I said, it's early enough in the game that I really don't care. So we go to Demons of Chaos turn 3. He had advanced his Gore too far without checking, so I was able to march my Herald out of his arc of sight, which was nice. So I put him up there, and the Bloodletters just backed up. It was still a long-ish charge for my Bloodletters. I didn't want to risk it against his Bestigor, so I just backed up to give him another long charge if he wants to try that again. Beastman turned 4, and he did try that long charge again. He once again needed a 10 or 11, and he failed, so scooted up to there. Meanwhile, the Gore just kind of wheeled to face towards my Herald. Winds of Chaos was Winds of Tzeentch, so it comes down, he rolls a 6 for my Herald, rolls a hit for the Scatter Dice, and puts a wound on my Herald. So that sucks. Fortunately, I have 3 wounds. He then casts Wissons on the Gore. I let that go. Advantage of having the charge superiority is I can charge either the Bestigor or his Gore. My plan was basically to charge the one he didn't get Wissons off on. Then he cast Curse on the Herald, and I tried to stop it with my dice, and that's what I rolled. So I failed to dispel it, so Curse is up on my Herald, which sucks, but, I mean, what can you do? Demons of Chaos turn 3, so I take the charge with my Herald into the flank of the Bestigor. I also try a charge with the Fleshhounds in. They needed like an 8, or I think they needed like a 7, which is in my favor. They should make it. They failed. What's it called? The Bloodletters also tried to charge. They needed like a 7 or an 8, and they failed. So the Herald made it into the flank. I was pretty happy about that. I was a little upset that the Fleshhounds didn't make it as well, but what can you do? He challenges with his champ, which is the smart play. I have nothing to accept it. I have to accept my champion. I obviously stomp his unit champion, and he fails his leadership check. Only leadership 7, so got a little lucky with him failing it. And now I don't have to worry about a countercharge from his Gore, which is nice. Beastman turned 4, because my Fleshhounds failed the charge, he had a nice easy charge on them, which sucks. He made the charge pretty easily, and now that unit is pretty much dead. And his Bestigor rallied. The banner died, obviously, when he broke. Magic phase, he got Wissons up again on his Gore, which I just let go. And he obviously wiped the floor with the Gore, just took the Fleshhounds off. What I did do, though, is with the few attacks that I did have towards him, I directed them all towards his unit champion and killed him, so that was nice. Now I don't have to worry about being challenged out again with my Herald. So Demons of Chaos turn 4, I took the charge again with the Herald into the front this time. I also tried to charge with the Bloodletters. This time they needed about like a 4, and I rolled a 3, so I just kind of wheeled towards them, which I wonder if I could present him with my flank any more clearly. So he's going to get a charge off on my flank, which sucks, but what can you do? I mean, rolling 4+ on 2 dice, sometimes you just fail. So we go to this combat. Magic obviously was ineffective, and my Bloodletter went in, or my Herald of Khorne went in like a wrecking ball. He just absolutely tore it up. He wasn't cursed anymore, and he was able to just unleash on this unit. Attack back, though, did 1 wound to me, so now my Herald of Khorne is sitting on 1 wound remaining, which is a little risky. but he failed his break test and ran. Beastman turn 5, he charges the obviously presented flank of my Bloodletters. The best gore failed to rally and run off the table, and he obviously makes that charge. So he cast Wissons on himself. This time it was reverse. My priority now is to dispel Wissons. I let through Curse on my Bloodletters. I really don't care. And I dispel Wissons in my turn. I dispel Wissons from him casting it. We go to combat. Curse on letters, like I said, I dispelled. We go to combat, and he had pretty good rolls to hit. He didn't have great rolls to wound, so he only killed 4. I didn't do any wounds back. I lost. And that was the end of the combat. I think he did 3 wounds, and I failed my leadership test by 1, and one more Bloodletter crumbled. It's a little bit fortunate that he failed to wound, and I made a good number of ward saves. And so yeah, we go to Demons of Chaos turn 5. My Herald charges into the flank, which is the obvious target. Yep, and so we go to combat, straight to combat, because nothing else really matters. I direct all my Bloodletter attacks, my Rider attacks at his wizard, and I get 2 wounds through, so that was nice. My Bloodletter takes a bunch of swings at his unit, or my Blood Crusher, the Juggernaut takes a bunch of swings, kills a couple more. He attacks back though, directing 2 attacks at my guy. He gets 1 wound through, and that 5 that you see next to my Herald is my ward save. I made it. So, he's only strength 3, he snuck 1 wound through, I failed my armor save of 4 up. And so I really need to make this ward save or else my Herald died. Fortunately, I rolled that 5, so that was nice. So now at the end of that round of combat, he has a rank and a little bit more. He killed 2 Bloodletters to remain steadfast, but it's pretty much, the writing's on the wall, I think, for this unit. Next round of combat, his magic phase, he has no more magic left since I killed his Herald, or since I killed his General. So we go straight to combat. My General kills a couple more. Stomp drops him down to below 1 rank. He's testing on pretty low leadership. He fails, and I run him down. So that's the last shot of the game. Pretty fun game. 5 small points games are nice and quick. It was a lot of fun playing this opponent. Beastmen are always a pleasure to play against. They're just a fun army of just charge forward and fight things. So it was a good time. Happy to get the win. And yeah, so that's the report. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.